Oh, this is brilliant. I'm here with Adam Forbes, who's the author of Corporate Escapology. Go on, wave it around at us, Adam. Have you got a copy? Of course, you've got a copy by your hand. Marvellous.
Never
And
without.
Adam, never without it, absolutely. Don't even go and buy milk without it. Adam is one of the 22 Practical Inspiration authors shortlisted in this year's Business Book Awards. So what I'm doing is just taking the opportunity to chat to them all in a series of LinkedIn Lives this summer. So first of all, congratulations, Adam. Yay!
I'm very excited.
It's very exciting. And just to give you a little bit, because it's such an interesting title, everybody's sort of like, I think I know what that means, but just tell us what it means and why you wrote it.
Well, what it means is actually a bit different in my head now than it was when I wrote it, really. I guess it sort of evolves as you speak to more and more people. Initially, I thought it was actually about just leaving, getting the heck out of corporate life and doing something more interesting with your life. But I think over time, I realized that it might be about reframing your relationship with your job and with work and just escaping that sense of feeling trapped by a job. And that's what I really wrote it for. I recognize that lots of people feel trapped because they look at the outside world, feel a bit terrified that maybe it's not right for them or they're no longer relevant. And I wanted to dispel those myths and not make them feel they couldn't at least explore the outside world.
And when I remember when I was looking at your concept, and because you came through the proposal challenge, the bootcamp, and it really struck me that the very things that we think chain us into our corporate jobs are actually the things that you can bundle up as your capabilities and skills and offer to the outside world. It's an odd sort of mind flip you have to do, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is. Well, you gave me the word that starts it all off, which is about detaching. And some of these kind of, there's baggage that's building up over multiple years that we need to sort of break through. And some of those things are this idea that I'm only valuable in this particular job or in this particular company that I'm in, and starting to recognize that lots of these things, of course, are incredibly transferable and are actually actively sought by others too, not just other corporates, but other smaller companies that really value some of the experience that corporate people have, and often have unconsciously. We've got so used to operating this way that we think everybody knows the things that we know, and it's just not true. So we have to remind ourselves that some of these things are very, very valuable, and we can take those away with us when we leave, and they're sources of value for both us and for others.
And obviously this book was published last year. So there's 2024 titles are eligible for the 2025 awards, which means that you wrote it between sort of 2022, 23. And it felt really timely then. What's your sense of now? Has it got more pressing, or is that eased off, or what?
Of course, I know so many people being made redundant, so much restructuring going on. I don't know that it's more, because at the time there was an awful lot of the tech fallout in the States. But I think, you've seen what's gone on in the US with Trump and the health service and government more generally. Lots of the energy companies that I work with, my heritage is going through huge restructures almost continually, it feels like. So I think from a redundancy perspective, it's just as timely. I think also post-COVID, as wrote about in the book, luckily I wrote it after that, published after that, people's relationship with work, I think, has fundamentally shifted too. And hybrid working has changed how people have been able to get maybe a bit more balance, but also then maybe create a bit of time to try other things on the side and at least experiment in a way that just wasn't possible 5 or 10 years ago, certainly. So hopefully it's just as relevant today as it was 2 years ago. It feels incredible to think that 2 years ago I wrote it.
I know, you're right. Where's the time gone?
I started in the boot camp, August the 4th or something, the deadline.
Graven into your mind. That's hilarious. But I think you're right and I think that, this is something we talked about, that yes, it's for people who want to perform the act of escapology. It's also for people who find themselves in the position of being let go and coping with that. So I think that's it matters more than ever, I think, as you say, from that perspective. It's really powerful.
Yeah, and I don't think increasingly I recognize that it will be the way that most people will leave the company, through redundancy. And so being prepared for that, not being surprised by it, having some ideas, having a sense of value and confidence, and particularly that confidence. If you're being made redundant without much warning and you're not ready for that, then you're dealing with an awful lot of baggage there before you can even start thinking about what's next.
Right. Yeah.
So I think it's really important that we all just get prepared. It's good for the company that too, to have people that are actively choosing to be there rather than people feeling trapped and they have no alternative. And like me, a few times hiding under the desk to avoid being picked for the one that's out the door.
Yeah, so true. Brilliant. So we know why you wrote it. We know why it matters. Tell us how you reacted when you found out that you had been shortlisted.
It was quite funny because I was away and I was nonchalantly pretending I hadn't noticed that was the night. And so I was waiting for something on the Slack group saying, yeah, Adam Forbes, and I didn't get anything. And I just said to my family, okay, I haven't won anything. And I pretended I didn't care. But then the next day I got an email and then I had to show that I actually did care. So I was very, very excited to see that email. I remember it very vividly.
I love that. Nonchalantly, no, I have no idea that this is going on at all. No. Yeah, that's hilarious. Well, you are shortlisted. You are, I think, joining us on the 10th of September in London.
Very excited to actually meet
the Practical Inspiration table. In your glad rags. It's going to be a splendid evening. I'm really, really looking forward to it. So thanks for writing it. Thanks for your time today. And I will see you on the 10th of September.
Yes. Look forward to it.
Thanks, Adam.
Thanks.